Picking a main in a fighting game is difficult. Having to learn their playstyle, their moves, all of their combos, their good versus bad buttons, it all can be extremely overwhelming. And if you're anything like me, you can't decide on a main to save your life. If you've seen any of my other Tekken videos, you may know that I play a lot of Nina, and I managed to even get her all the way up to Fujin. I really enjoyed playing Nina, and I think she's an extremely strong character, especially when it comes to competitive play. But I'm still not confident that she's the perfect character for me. So, I've decided to embark on a quest, a journey of self-discovery and learning. Welcome to the quest for a main. Today's episode features everyone's favorite laser-shooting, bird-loving mother of a protagonist, Jun Kazama. Despite her being considerably weaker than her first iteration at the beginning of Tekken 8, she is still a very powerful defensive character. Her tools allow her to punish aggression with very high damage counter-hitting moves and insane combo damage. Plus, she has laser beams, so that's always cool. Unless you're on the receiving end. While I think she has a lot going for her, I feel that she does have a few shortcomings. She doesn't have a standing 15-frame launcher that isn't a counter hit, all of her high damage moves cost HP, and with just a little bit of labbing, she has a lot of counterplay that can be used against her. Her Izumo stance is one of the biggest examples of this last point. Most things in this stance can be beat with a sidestep, block, and duck, and her throw in this stance can be teched, so 1+2 and you're out. That doesn't mean it's completely useless though. It's still good for mixing up your opponent when you can, and most of the moves that enter into the Izumo stance can be cancelled with a sidestep. This just gives you even more mix-up opportunities. I started my journey with Jun in Garyu. I had already played her a little bit earlier this year, but dropped her because I was just interested in figuring out what character I wanted to play at the time. My general strategy going into this wasn't much different from the way I normally play. Find a good frame trap option, look for easy mix-ups, and figure out the best wall situations. I had to adapt more to Jun's toolkit as I went on, and what worked best for me was focusing more on sidesteps, counter hits, and abusing her fast low heat smash option out of Genjutsu. Because of her extensive move list, Jun tends to get away with murder in the early ranks. Not that it's all easy, but once you have a grasp of what she can do out of each stance, you can overwhelm most players with mix-up after mix-up, whittling down their HP. Give them a good old death by 1,000 cuts. These are the moves I found to be particularly effective in poking through my opponent's defense. Frame traps were an essential part of my success as well. Forward 4 into 1+2 honestly carried me through so much of red ranks. Even if somebody traded with a jab, I would always end up in the better position since I got a knockdown, and I could continue pressuring them from there. One of Jun's greatest strengths is having an insanely powerful 10-frame option for both standing and in crouch. It leads to a knockdown on hit, does a lot of damage, and can wall splat for a full wall combo. The downsides for this, of course, is that it is punishable on block, and it costs a decent bit of HP to use. But I'd say it's a small price to pay for its strengths. Sorry to butt in real quick, but if you're enjoying this video and want to see more like this in the future, please leave a like to let me know and subscribe so that you don't miss an upload. Thanks! Against mashers, I found that forward 3-2 into Izumo 3 worked wonders on punishing their impatience. And once they ended up getting conditioned to block both hits, you could go for Izumo 4-1 to catch them out with a low. And then you could go back into going for more mix-ups with Izu 3, 1+2, and even 2 for a full launcher. Now, like I mentioned before, all of these have some counterplay to them, but in my personal experience, I didn't find anyone who was able to beat more than one option at a time. I'm sure if I took Jun to Tekken King and above, I would find people who knew how to counter this stance much better. But the point of the series is to quickly find the characters I like the most and then try and pick a main from there. Now to my favorite part about playing Jun. If you manage to get a launch, then it's laser time! Honestly, these laser moves are so fun to use. But despite that, all of them cost some amount of HP to use. If you look at her HP bar here, you can see that she has to sacrifice some of her life just to use these moves in the first place. And if you're dominating the game, well, it's really not that big of a deal. But when it comes to closer games, one laser beam can be the difference between winning or losing a game. The more I played Jun, the more I felt this for sure. If I were to continue playing her, I would definitely try to find other combo routes for the situations where I'm below half health. Wall carry was something I also started to pay attention to a little bit more as I climbed, but I still haven't fully quite explored that yet. I think if I had locked down on some wall carry, this would have been something that would have been a small but very important change in my gameplay. There are so many things out there to learn about a character, and I haven't quite figured all of the ins and outs of Jun yet. I think I would only be able to do that if I took her all the way up to God of Destruction, but that's for a later date when I can maybe get a single character there in the first place. If there are any Jun mains watching, please enlighten us with your knowledge down in the comments. I'd love to hear what things I missed in my time of playing her. This video just goes over the few things that I managed to find with my very brief time with her, and let's figure out, was this enough to answer the question? Is Jun Kazama my next main? I definitely think Jun is a very fun character to play. She does a lot of damage, her combos are really satisfying to pull off, and I think Jun has potential to be a very interesting character if she's given enough love by the developers. Also, she's super cute to make customs for, so that's always a plus in my book. On the flip side, I feel her playstyle is a little too passive for my taste, especially in a game as aggressive as Tekken 8. And while she does deal a lot of damage because of it, sacrificing her HP for her attacks really started to sting more and more as I played her. And when someone like Heihachi exists, every bit of HP matters. Her stances are definitely the most fun part of the character for me, but I feel that if I climbed up higher, I'd be fighting more people who would be able to counter them much better. And I'm in here for the long haul, so I'm trying to find a main that I know will serve me well in the future. In conclusion, I love Jun on paper. Her design is fantastic, and the lasers are a really fun and satisfying part of her kit to use. But I think I'm going to keep her as a casual pick for now, and a cute character for photo mode. Maybe if we see some buffs or reworks to her kit, I'll give her another shot. Keep in mind, these are just my thoughts on Jun after maybe a dozen hours of playing her. To master any character, you'd need hundreds of hours of learning the ins and outs of every move, interaction, and matchup to solve any issues you might have. And honestly, I don't want to invest that much time into every single character just yet. Maybe somewhere down the line, but for now I'm trying to find the one that's perfect for me. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna try and make this into a series for every single character in the cast. The purpose of this series is purely for me to figure out which characters I like and don't like, and maybe I could help you out with that along the way with my opinions. I already have another video in the works for this series, so if you want to see that, be sure to subscribe and turn on the notifications so that you don't miss out on that. And if you have a character you want me to cover in the future, please let me know down in the comments below. Take care, bye-bye!